Hey everyone! Welcome back to our SunFish Workplace tutorials. Today, we will learn how to submit an overtime request in the SunFish Workplace. So without further ado, let's dive in. Overtime is part of our time and attendance module in SunFish Workplace, and the overtime request feature in particular is a self-service function. That means both employees and HR admins can submit requests directly. No paperwork, no delays. As all our functions, overtime requests can be submitted through both the web and the mobile version. Let's start with the web version. To request overtime, log in first and then open the Time and Attendance menu. In here, click the Overtime Request, which lands you on a main page, showing all your past overtime requests. Each record comes with info, like request number, overtime type, and request status. You can filter this list by certain criteria and save them for later use. You can also adjust the page view to add or remove columns via the Manage Column option. To create a new overtime request, click the plus button at the top right. On this page, you will need to fill in mandatory details. Next, you see a field for request type, which has options to submit overtime for multiple dates or multiple employees. Please note that the tab Multiple Employees is only for admin users. We come back to it later. Regular employees can only submit requests for themselves, so no need to use this tab. Next, select the reason for overtime and write your comments in the Remarks section. Again, the field Request For is only for admin and supervisor users they can submit requests on behalf of other employees. Regular employees only see their own names in this field and can ignore it. The next field is Overtime Type. Different companies have different overtime compensations. If your company offers overtime to be paid out or to be turned into extra leave, you have to pick which option you want to apply. If you want the overtime to be paid, select Overtime Hours. Or if you want it to be converted to leave, click Extra Leave. If you select Overtime Hours, you will have to specify the date of your overtime. If you clicked Extra Leave, an additional field will open first called Type of Leave, and you have to pick the right leave to which to add the extra. After this, select the dates of overtime using the calendar. Depending on the date selection, your right side changes to display each selected date, and it will show for each day you recorded clock in and out, time and shift code. Then choose whether the overtime will be calculated using static or relative hours. For static hours, enter the start and end time for overtime. If you had 2 overtime periods in one day, just click plus Add Overtime to add another entry. Once you've filled everything out, you can save it as a draft, preview the approvers, or click Submit if everything is good to go. As mentioned earlier, admin or supervisor users that manage multiple employees have the additional field of Multiple Employees. This allows them to request overtime on behalf of other people whose data they are allowed to manage. If an admin user clicks Multiple Employees, the form changes slightly to show a Member box under the Date field. This box holds the names of employees you are authorized to request overtime for. So, after selecting the overtime date, use this box to tick the checkboxes of names included in this particular request. Then click the blue highlighted arrow button to transfer them to the empty box. The right side of the form will adjust to show the working time of your selected employees for your selected dates. Then fill in the form, as explained for regular users. As mentioned, overtime requests can also be done on your mobile phone or tablets via our SunFish Workplace app. The form fields, functions, and flow is the same as on the desktop, but the layout is adjusted to fit the small screen. Let's take a look. Log in and find the More icon on the bottom right of your screen. Click it to open the menu and go to Time and Attendance and select Overtime Request. From here, you can submit for yourself or others if authorized, just like on the web. After selecting yourself or the employee names for the request, continue with entering the effective date. the reason for overtime, and whether the overtime is in hours or minutes. And fill in the required details. If you had 2 overtime periods on the same day, just tap the blue plus button to add more entries. Select if it's pay or extra leave, fill in your remarks, and add any supporting documents if needed. Once done, you can check who will approve your request by clicking See Details. Lastly, either save it as a draft if you will finish later, or click Submit when it's completed. And that's a wrap. That's how easy it is to submit your overtime requests in SunFish Workplays, from anywhere, at any time.